So, Shannon, we were talking off camera, and you mentioned that it's not only adults that have to worry about cybersecurity, but unfortunately, cyber criminals also target children's information. Can you give us some more information about what they do with it and how we could help prevent this?
Yeah, sure, Michael. So, yeah, we were just talking about data breaches, and I mentioned, we think, it's only adults and only our information that we need to be worried about. But if you take a look at things like the Equifax data breach or, data breaches at medical facilities, we'll find that those kind of breaches actually do touch on the information of minors. And there was a news article that talked about this one family of five that decided, hey, I'm just curious, what happens if I plug in the information of our children into the Equifax data breach checker? And the family was very surprised to find out that the information of their 7-year-old son had been stolen in the Equifax data breach. The theft of information about children is very valuable to cybercriminals, especially when it comes to identity theft and fraudulent credit activity, because typically parents aren't monitoring the credit activity of their children.
Mm.
So cybercriminals will get away for a very long time with impersonating the children and getting credit in their name. And there's been cases where children have, or I guess young adults, have gone off to university and found out that they're hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, where basically a cyber criminal had stolen their name, their address, and their social security number, fudged the date of birth, and then gotten credit in their name. So, it is a concern. And I think there was actually a study about 10 years ago that found that children were 51% more likely to be the victim of identity theft than an adult.
Wow. Well, yeah, that's statistics a lot of people don't know. It's really surprising, and I guess you're right. It's more of an open season because adults are often checking their own, cybersecurity and checking to make sure their own identity isn't stolen. But often people don't think that people would go after children and take their identity. But
Hmm.
unfortunately, it's just an opportunity. So then cyber criminals are going to capitalize on it. Unfortunately. All right,
Right. Yeah.
Shannon. Well, is there anything you can add about? Can you tell people advice on, hey, you should be checking your children's data here, stuff like that?
Yeah. So, of course, monitoring your children's credit is one step that families can take to protect their children's identity. So, through the credit monitoring services, you can actually lock your children's credit and put credit monitoring on your entire family. So, there are plenty of those options out there. And they actually, a lot of people think that those kind of services are expensive, but I think some of the services, like, you can cover your entire family for about 50, $60 every month. So it's not that much when it comes into, protecting your family and particularly your children.
Yeah.
And it's not only just identity theft and credit that cyber criminals will use children's information for, but there's been a trend on data breach forums over the past few years when it comes to selling social security numbers of minors that can basically be used on fraudulent tax filings as well.
Mm.
So that's another way that cyber criminals are capitalizing on the information of minors.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys heard her. It's definitely children are free game to cyber criminals. So be on the lookout, check your child's credit. And if you have the ability or the opportunity to, lock their credit and monitor it as best you can. All right, Shannon. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much for coming on and sharing your advice.
Thanks, Michael.